Well, there it is. Hi there. Welcome to another Warcraft 3 Reforged video. This time it's a comparison video between the human characters and their buildings. So you can see straight away here we are looking at some very cute looking peasants on the right hand side. They look like they're from Minecraft now when you compare them these days to the new models. I like the new models though. I think they still look reminiscent of the originals. The originals were pretty beefy. These guys are like mega beefy, super strong, perhaps a bit too strong, but they are labouring all day, so perhaps they would look that way. So we're going to go through this video and just criticise a little bit here and there, little nitpicks. I love the flare with the picking up the axe, the lumber axe. We have the knight looking incredibly powerful, very imposing with that red on the pauldrons. Much appreciating the red colours that sort of come through, aka the player colours. You can definitely tell this guy belongs to red, just as much as you can in the original. He reminds me so much of Garifos with that face now. So Garifos definitely has a different look as opposed to the knights now in the new Reforged. So these guys have their own flair as opposed to just looking like another version of Garifos. I love the lance. It's just as cool and imposing as the original, if not maybe more so. And it's got a little bit of a flag to the end, to the tip, which you also have here as well. So it bears a lot of the original models in the same design, but just takes it to the next level. His armor's super cool. It's actually kind of similar to Arthur's when he's in the Northrend. Very bright and reflective. Okay. Got the mortar teams now. So the old models obviously looking really sort of basic and dated in comparison to the new models. These look like they're individual characters. These definitely look like they are a little bit connected. I think some people even said in some of my comment section below that they look like conjoined twins, which I suppose you can somewhat see that, especially at an earlier age. If you do enjoy this video, make sure to thumbs up, and there will be more Warcraft 3 Reforged content on the way, so make sure to subscribe for that. I even have a playlist over at youtube.com/WTiiWarcraft. Just come over, see the playlist, and see all of the Warcraft 3 Reforged videos. So the missiles look more intact on the left hand side, the cannon looks bigger, boomier, just more shiny. Well, maybe not as big actually. That one looks so big it's actually going through his arm. Whereas this one it rests on, so the model textures seem to fit in with what they're holding on to more on this left hand side. But either way, both really good. I have much fondness for the original ones, but I like the new approach that they've gone through with this new version. Rifleman, pretty much spot on. The rifle itself is so long though that it makes me worry when they get up close and fight. The gyrocopters are like mega different in many aspects. So many flames coming out of this. A one food unit. How many of these in the battlefield is going to just crash the game? The Banshee look actually is actually similar to the original. I thought they always had the parts sticking out, but that's when they're hovering. They've got this mode, and then when they move forward, I suppose it moves forward. I never really looked at the original gyrocopter model in so much detail. They got more of this seaplane look to them, whereas the new version looks much more mechanical and well crafted, more built for war, whereas the original looks more haphazard. Either way, I like both. I think the new one might be a bit too detailed, but there you go. There's the Griffins. They don't look as beefy and squished in as the original, so they're going to take up more space on the screen in the new version. The same goes for the Dragonhawk Riders. A lot of these new models are definitely just larger in comparison to their originals, so when you get into big battles, it's going to be a bit harder to identify the difference. Priest looks really good. A lot of colouring going on with the garments there, quite distracting. Siege engines, aka war wagons. Amazing, just amazing, but obviously overdone a little bit. Spellbreaker really looks cool. I just wish he had more of this kind of armored look to him as the original one. At least on the top half, you can see he's wearing a garment at the bottom part, but it still looks really good. Nice glowing on the shield as well. So this is the Blood Mage model. This is the Blood Mage that we get in melee, but there is a KO Fast model, which you will probably be able to use as a skin to replace this one. So fear not if he doesn't look as cool as the original KO. There's the Mountain King for some reason compared to the Paladin. Definitely not correct. Not much to say there. Archmage compared to the cool Antonidas. You can see he's got like much smaller facial features, like a small nose, whereas in the newer version they have much bigger, beefier, dwarvish noses, which I don't think work for humans. The beard is on point, so he has like this silver beard. So this is wrong in a way because this is the Archmage hero, but this is a new take on it. I'd prefer to see Archmage Antonidas compared to this Archmage, but there you go. Nice glowing on the staff. There's a farm. Just very thatched and homely. Not sure what's going on with that part there. It's like there's a little mouse waiting to get inside or something. The Paladin or King-like model is very golden, but then again the original one is golden. It's kind of weird contrast gold in comparison to the white stone. I prefer the white stone though. I think it gives more of a Holy Alliance vibe than this darker stone. So for me, I prefer the white colouring on the original. The Barracks is very similar to the original. Even the original, I criticise this new one for not having like a sword or some grilled parapets or something to make it look like it's more of a war building, so a military building. It is actually very similar to the original, so my criticisms were maybe a little bit incorrect in terms of the original not also having the features that I was looking for. There's something about this that felt like it was more, even though it's so similar, it still felt, in comparison to a lot of these newer buildings, it felt like it was more of a kind of just building than it was an actual important structure that you would want to keep an eye out for. It's hard to explain. I'd just like to see a sword or shield or something on the front. Yeah, somehow the old one just looks better, but I don't know, that's just because I'm used to it. Lumber mill has these lumber posts to make it really obvious that it's a lumber mill now. The tree stump, the axe in it, the wooden bundles, the work section, and this has the saw over here. That's sort of like pummeling the wood into smaller chunks. I feel like this works for me. You can see the saw slowly spinning there as well. Blacksmith, again, just a lot of stuff going on, but looks really cool. It's got the fan, similar to here, to burn the heat. And these big old smoky pipes that help transfer some of that heat alongside this big chunky chimney. It has an anvil and a sword over here, so I think this is fine. This looks good. Now we have the workshop, which I feel like the roof is a little bit too low, particularly if you're going to be producing siege engines inside and trying to roll those out. You got the track here, which is actually similar to the original track. The big old pipes and barrels looks good. There's water in this barrel, but there's no water in that one. And you got the tanks on the outside that contain various chemicals and a little bit of a outpost that you can work on. It looks really good. I just feel like this roof needs to be a little bit higher. Now we have the Arcane Sanctum. The original one is super beefy in comparison to this new one. The new one opted to go for a slimmer design, but posting crystals on the outside to give it a different flair, which the original doesn't have. But the original has these giant red glowing runes to indicate the player red, whereas these crystals, I assume, are for the player color. But they're a little bit more washed out in terms of their vibrancy, so I prefer the runes. Perhaps if these were more of a bright red to indicate that it belongs to player 1, I would get behind this model more. The design is cool though, because it's based off the original. The original had an incredibly cool design. It does look quite elfish, but then again, the units that come out of it are elfish. The sorceress, you know, the priest, the spellbreaker, so it would make sense. So the Avery in this new version, super cool, super angular. I feel like there's a little bit too much action going on in the middle platform, and this section really kind of throws me off as if I'm working in a warehouse or something. It feels like yellow and black stripes warning you, which I don't quite like as much. This old model's very dated at this point, so the new model does bring in some new cool features, but when it's building, it's a little bit too distracting, I find. Maybe reduce the overdoingness of the braziers. I think that's a word. Scout tower, spot on, really cool. Just update. Again, the guard tower, just spot on, really cool update. Better than the original. The tiles are so good. Cannon tower, people were saying looks a bit like an observatory. The original one doesn't exactly look much better though, so this has got like a kind of a fierce bronze outside look. Arcane tower is quite different in many aspects. Looks a lot more elvish with these designs. So the original one looks more like a tower, a basic tower, whereas you can see the new one's got much more over-the-top elegant design. So they obviously... I wonder if Arcane towers are going to cost more, because look at this thing. It looks expensive. Arcane Vault. The new one looks really cool, actually. The original one has that cool glowing up and down with the chains. The new one doesn't look like it goes up and down. And now we move into your boy Asmongold. Reacts to the top 10 secret items. No, I'm just joking. At least for now. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff for more Warcraft 3. I did do a comparison video, reaction to the orc characters and buildings and side by side. So if you want to see that, that's on the channel as well. Take care. All the best. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good day.